I am living La Vida Loca. Living La Vida Loca. Hi, I'm Caleb Jones, and this is Unchained CEO, where we talk about how to develop your own location-independent business that sets you free from your 9-to-5 job and gets you location-independent. And setting up an international backup plan, moving to a less bad country, and doing all these things for very little money. I am drinking my electrolyte tea because I need it today. It has been absolute chaos this morning in a good way. 90-day business builder rapid launch is now available. I'll talk about that later. Caleb.top/rapid. You can go get it now. A lot of people are buying it. More than I expected. Holy fuck. And so for the last several hours, myself, my ops manager, and my course guy were like, because there's a flood of orders that I expected it to be popular, but not like this. God damn. So, yeah, it's been chaos, but that's good. I can't complain. What's interesting is if you want some inside baseball into my business, if you want to have a personal online brand and you sell information like books, courses, membership programs, coaching, things like that. If you want a business like that, a lot of you do. This is generally how it works. When you do a 4-day launch of something that is new to a warm audience, generally the cadence is that the first day you get a hunk of sales, you get a decent hunk, not a lot, but a decent hunk, usually in the morning. And then the second day you get some sales, third day you get some sales. Day 4, the morning of day 4, you get nothing. And then the last afternoon, night, evening of day 4, the entire planet Earth comes in and buys what you have, assuming you've done everything correctly. And so literally 50 to 60% of all the sales of whatever you're launching come in during the final 6-7 hours of a 4-day launch or a 5-day launch or a 6-day launch. It's just human nature. It's how this works. A lot of you are going to do that. You're going to wait till the last minute to get it, and so you can't get it. So you can get it now, but you can't get it after Sunday night. But anyway, I was looking at the transactions going, holy shit. It's only been open for 90 minutes. Holy shit. So here's some more inside baseball on my company. So I have quarterly and monthly revenue targets for all of my business units. I call them companies. They're really business units, and there's several of them. And so I have revenue objectives per month, revenue objectives per quarter. I think in terms of 12-month year. So to me, a quarter is a year. So we're coming up on the end of the year for me at the end of this month. And so there was something I was going to do next week in one of my other corporate units, don't do with this, to hit that revenue target for the end of the quarter / end of the month, right, for June. And now I'm thinking, well, shit, maybe I don't need to do it. Make enough money on this. Fine. Because I have revenue targets. So I have revenue targets for each corporate entity, not entity, excuse me, each business unit, revenue, and then that totals out to total revenue, and then it's revenue, then before tax profit, then after tax profit, and that goes to Big Daddy Caleb. So Big Daddy Caleb can go buy more international real estate and Bitcoin and precious metals. So I was on the phone with my CFO just a little bit ago during this chaos, and I was telling him this, like, I may not need to do next week because if this launch does I don't need to worry about it. I said, the problem is, so I won't know until Monday morning because the launch is over Sunday night. And I have to make the decision on whether to do this Sunday morning. So I'm like, kind of on the fence about this. And he goes, just do it. Just do it. I said, but if I do it, then he goes like, yeah, but so what? Because then and you'll make an extra blank amount of money next week, and then we'll all get it over here. And as usual, he was right. And I always do. I always do what my CFO tells me. I learned that lesson because 2, 3, 4 years ago, I got into trouble because I didn't have a CFO, and I should have. When you have businesses like I do, and you make the money I make, you need to have a CFO. And I didn't know that because I'm a dumb fuck, because I'm what they call nouveau riche, which otherwise known as new money, which is a derogatory term among rich people. When they say new money, that's not a compliment. That's the opposite. And I've experienced this because I go sometimes. I don't go anymore, but I've been to like some old money like parties and events, and it's like a bunch of people like, I went to Harvard Law. My great-grandfather started Standard Oil, and I now run this division. And I'm like, cool, dude. My dad was a mental health counselor, and I never graduated high school, and I make more money than you. Cha-ching! Look at my wife and look at your wife. Who would you rather fuck? I'm a bastard. That's why I don't go to these things anymore. I don't get invited anymore. These kind of things that like Doug Casey gets invited to. Yeah. Here's the pictures of my FBs. Let's compare. Oh, wait, you don't have FBs because you're monogamous. Because mommy wouldn't approve. Why did I get off this topic? Did I get way off topic? I guess I did. All right, stop drinking coffee. Let's get to our topic. So today's live stream, if you're watching the live stream or the recording, I discussed this on my other channel the other day, and I'm going to discuss it here in case you didn't see that. I am changing the format of these live streams. And what I'm doing now is using these live streams, instead of one topic, I'm going to provide several shorter topics, 2, 3, 4 topics. And in between topics, I'm going to say new video. And I'm going to introduce myself, all over again, because I'm going to have AI go and chop these up and create mid-form content for my other social media platforms. So I'm trying to make the best use of my time. It's easier, more time management for me to do it this way than to sit down and record a bunch of videos and upload them and edit them. And this is easier. Just do this live. So you will see me throughout this live stream introduce myself several times, and then I will get to questions at the end. Hang on a minute. Let me confirm the technology is working here. And it is. Cool. Okay. All right. First topic. Hang on. One more drink of electrolyte tea. Likely one of the number one, if not the number one reason why you are not making the money you want to make is because your communication skills suck. And so I'm going to explain to you how to fix the number one problem I see, at least in my audience / people who are interested in this kind of content, what they do wrong and why it screws up their life, primarily their business life. Now, their personal life as well, but primarily their business life. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm Caleb Jones. I help people just like you how to set up location-independent companies, get profitable in 90 days, quit their stupid 9-to-5 jobs, and move to another country or set up an international backup plan. So here's the problem. A lot of you, maybe even you, have an issue where you are not aware of how much you think and how much you talk. So you overthink, you think way too much and analyze way too much, and it makes it very difficult for you to get from A to B because you're thinking and thinking, what about this? And then on top of this, to compound that problem, you talk too much. So in a conversation, if someone asks you a yes or no question, you go, well, and you talk for 10 fucking minutes when you could have just said yes or no, or maybe yes and a sentence or no and a sentence. A lot of you have this problem. I've spoken with many of you. I've coached with many of you. Many of you are in our coaching programs, like the 90-Day Business Builder program. A lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, have this problem. This kind of content tends to attract mostly men, but women too, who overthink shit and talk too much. And when you do this, it makes it very difficult for you to go out in the marketplace and sell stuff and get money. Because you're talking and talking and talking. 2 reasons. A is you get on a research call or a sales call or a whatever call, and you're talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and that person goes, oh my God, fuck this. And they're like, I gotta go. And you're like, how come people are so mean? How come people don't listen to me? Why do people hang up? Why are people trying to? Well, because you're talking and 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 talking. And you don't realize how much you are talking, and that's part of your problem. Now, some of you, not all of you, but many of you with this problem are perhaps, like Billy, neurodivergent in some way, and maybe you have ADHD or ADD or whatever the D and DDD. I don't know all these things because I'm not a psychologist like my dad, but some of you actually have real issues where you are not aware when you talk and 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 you talk, you're not hearing yourself talk. You think you're sounding perfectly normal when everyone else is going, Jesus Christ, won't this guy shut up? You don't hear it. And you need to train yourself to hear it. You need to understand you're talking too much. You got to shut the fuck up. You have to be more concise. Number 1. Number two, you're overthinking things. A to B. 2 + 2 = 4. Well, if you have 3, then but this guy told me, and I saw this video, and I talked to this guy. You're overthinking and you're talking too much, and it's fucking up your life. And I have encountered so many of you who I love. I love you guys. Part of my mission, the core of my mission, is to help you guys. And the problem is, so many of you guys, very likely you who are now watching this video or listening to the sound of my voice, have this issue where either A, you overthink and overanalyze and make simple things complex, and or B, usually and B, you talk too goddamn much. You need to simplify it, narrow it down, and shut the fuck up, which also means some of you need to develop the skill set, and I don't know how to do this because I'm not a mental health counselor like my dad, develop the skill set to know and to hear with your own ears, oh my God, I'm talking too much, to get some self-awareness. One person in one of my coaching programs, the Unchained action table, mentioned the other day, really a wise observation. He goes, it sounds like a lot of, this is Unchained CEO, he's talking about Alpha Male 2.0 by the channel. It sounds like a lot of Alpha Male 2.0 is really about self-awareness. I said, exactly, it's all about self-awareness. That's all it is. To develop the self-awareness, to be aware when you are talking too much. And that's hard for a lot of you. You've got to figure this out. In my other content, when I teach dating advice to men, one of the techniques I talk about over there is when a man's on a first date with a woman, the guy needs to only do 20% of the talking. She should do 80% of the talking. Then you will be successful with women. And a lot of guys in my audience can't do that. And they will say, I tried to, but I can't. I can't shut up. I have to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about my job and my school and my ex-girlfriend and then you don't get laid and you wonder why. And then you get on niche research calls, sales calls, coaching calls, and you talk 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 and you talk, and things that are very simple for you to do, simple A to B to C tasks, you make completely complicated. And you blow them way out of proportion, and it turns into a nightmare because you have made it more complicated, because you have overthought stuff. This is one of the downsides of being smart. One of the downsides of having a higher than average IQ is you overthink things and you turn into a LISG. You don't know what LISG is, one of my terms, LISG. That is low income smart guy. That is most of you in my audience. I hate to say this. Most of you in my audience are low income, really smart guys. Very high IQ, you went to a good college like Harvard or something else, and you don't make shit for money because you think about shit all day and listen to podcasts all day and read blogs all day and watch YouTube videos all day and think about stuff all day and don't do anything. The reason you're doing that is A, you're a pussy and you're scared. That's a separate topic. Go to my other channel for help on that. I have entire videos on how to stop being a pussy. Go watch those. The other problem is you overthink things and you talk too much. This is, and what I'm about to say is literal. This overthinking / over-talking problem, this communication issue, is the number one reason why most of you are not succeeding, particularly in your business life. We have people going through 90 Business Builder, and a lot of people make money, a lot of people struggle, a lot of people just bail and don't do anything, don't do what we tell them. That's their choice. The people who struggle, I don't have statistics on this. I think I'm going to start gathering statistics on this. The people who struggle, I'll be honest with you, okay, in the 90-day business builder program, the full program, tend to be ones who have this problem. They overthink and they talk too much. And if you're thinking, oh, he's talking about me, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about 35 guys I could name. 35, just the program now, and hundreds over the past several years in not just Business Builder, but a lot of my other programs. If you want to be successful in business, if you want to be free, if you want to chuck your 9-to-5 job, if you want to be location dependent, if you want to make good money doing something you like without having to work too hard, which we talk about here at Unchained CEO, you've got to get a handle on this. It is your number one priority. It's more than how do I find a niche and how do I do niche research, all of which you can learn in 9-Day Business Builder Rapid. Cover that in a second. You've got to figure this out. You have no choice. This is your number one barrier. It's not, I don't know what to do. A lot of you think, I don't have my own business or I don't make a lot of money because I don't know how to do it. That's not true. It's not. You know how much content I have online to show you how to make money without you paying me, giving me $1? A lot. And it's not just my content. Have you seen Alex Hormozy? Have you seen these guys? Okay. A lot of content there. You can figure out what to do. And you can get things like the 90-day Business Builder Rapid or whatever. You can get resources, spend a little money, get those too. You know what to do. Your problem is your own brain and your own mouth are preventing you from getting the results that you want because you're overthinking things and you're talking too much. You've got to figure out how to stop doing this. And I'll be honest with you. There's a percentage of you who have an issue, which means you may need to talk to somebody. You may need to talk to a therapist. There are extreme enough cases we need to get some help beyond what I can give you because I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health counselor. I'm not a psychologist. I find these things very interesting. I've read many books on these things. I'm a layman, but this is beyond my ability to help. You need to get some help outside of what I can offer you, some of you guys, because you just don't, you're stuck in this habit of overthinking shit and blowing your brains out and then talking and 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 never doing anything. And you're stuck in this pattern, you're stuck in this cycle and you can't break it. You can break it, I just don't know how to break it. Some of you don't need to go to a therapist. Just be self-aware and recognize next time you're talking to someone, oh shit, I'm talking too much. And cover your mouth. Some of you can just you start practicing self-awareness, you can nail this down. Some of you, this is so extreme, you may need to go talk to somebody. And I can't advise you on that. Billy would be a much better person to talk to than I. Cool? I'm telling you, it is a huge problem with people who are interested in this content, with people in my audience and people outside my audience who are interested in this kind of stuff. Overthinking, talking too much. You solve that problem, you can make all the money you want. You can achieve whatever you want. The magic formula, and I've said this before, this is why so many high IQ guys are so low income because they overthink shit. However, if you want to be a superhuman, high intelligence, with a simplified brain, who doesn't talk too much, with a focus on action. I just described me. I'm a higher than average IQ. I'm not a super genius. My IQ is somewhere around 140 something. So higher than average, but I'm not some Einstein genius. And thank God, because those guys have other problems. High intelligence mixed with action, right action, which means I don't overthink shit rarely. Sometimes I do, but it's rare. When I'm in conversations with people, I don't talk too much unless I don't care. If it's a conversation I don't care about, I'll say whatever I want because I'm not going to pin it. But if I'm in a business scenario that I want to work, if I'm in a personal relationship scenario when I want to work, I shut the fuck up and I answer the questions succinctly and I let the other person talk. And I have all the success I want. That's the only change you need to make. Cool? Get it done. New video. Take a drink. Hang on. I recently saw a clip of Vanilla Ice, of all people, being interviewed about a year or two ago, and the interviewer asked, "Hey, Vanilla Ice, why are people so nostalgic about the 90s?" Now, she could have said the 80s or the 70s because people are nostalgic about those just as much, but she was talking to Vanilla Ice, and his era was the 90s, so she's being nice to him, so she said 90s. She could have said 80s, she could have said 70s. I'm nostalgic about the 80s. 80s was fucking great. So she asked him this question, and his answer was very interesting. He said, because it was the last decade of actual culture before computers ruined the world. And the interviewer was like, what the hell? I wasn't expecting an answer like this. And he goes, well, think about it. When was the iPhone invented? 2007. Right? Right. Okay. What has happened to American pop culture between 2007 and now? Movies, TV shows, fashion, music, comic books, literature. What's happened? I've talked about these things 10,000 times in my videos, podcasts, and blogs. You know what happened. Interesting point. We could quibble about it a little bit, but interesting point. And I will tell you, the first experience I ever had when I realized that Western culture was beginning to collapse. Now, I didn't make the determination that the United States was going to collapse until 2003. That's when I talked to my wife at the time, my first wife from a billion years ago, and said, you know, right now, this is 2003-ish. Right now in America, this is a pretty good place. But I literally said these words. In about 20 years, this is not going to be a good place to live. Boy, did I nail that or what? But that wasn't my first experience. My first experience was in the late 90s. So to put it into context, I was a very young guy in my mid to late 20s, young beta male, didn't know what the hell I was doing, brand newly married, only 2 or 3 years. My son was about 7 years old at the time. My daughter was about 2 years of baby. And I had my first wife, and it was a traditional, normal marriage. And my son, when he was little, was a jock. He was really good at sports. Josh is black, or at least half black. And so it was hilarious. When he played basketball, he would buzz past these suburban white kids, and he'd be the number one guy on the team. It was awesome. So he was really good at this stuff. So he went out for a lot of sports, including soccer and baseball. So when he was about 7 or 8, we went out to his final wrap-up baseball party. This is like 1997-ish, 8-ish, somewhere in there, late 90s. And I'm sitting there. So if you don't have context for this, you don't have kids. The way it works, you have kids. I don't know how they do it now, but back in the 90s is, I'm pretty sure they do this now. At the end of the baseball season, the whole team gets together and all the parents come for a pizza party, and they rent out the back room of a pizza restaurant, and you eat cake and pizza and get fat. Okay. And I was very fat by then. I'm the lowest weight I've ever been in my adult life right now. So I was a little chubbier back then. But anyway, so I'm sitting there eating cake and eating pizza and getting fat and having a good time with my 2 kids and my then wife. And the coach in the front goes to the front of the room and says, okay, everybody, now we're going to hand out trophies. And we're like, woo, trophies. All right. Woo, cool. So he gets this big box and he pulls out this trophy and he goes, okay, this trophy is for Ethan. Come on down, Ethan. And I'm like, woo, Ethan, all right. Woo. Now I look at the trophy and it's small. I'm like, well, that's weird. I just had this little thought. That's weird. That trophy looks really small. Well, maybe they're trying to cut in the budget. So maybe the first place trophy is just smaller. And I didn't think anything of it. So little Ethan comes up, gets his trophy, shakes his hand. Woo, all right, Ethan. Okay. Then he pulls out another trophy. He's like, okay, Johnny, come on down. Johnny, get your trophy. And we're like, woo, woo. And I notice the trophy is the same trophy. I'm like, well, that's weird. What the fuck? So when I was in school in the 80s, before the collapse began, first place person would get a big trophy, like you needed 2 hands to hold that fucking thing. Then the second place player would get the second place trophy. The third place would get the smaller trophy. And then if there was 4th, 5th, 6th, they'd get ribbons. So I was kind of confused, but I'm like, whatever, this is, I was new to having children. I'd only had children for 2 years. I don't know what the hell I was doing back then. This young, stupid beta male. I was already a dad when I was 26 or whatever. I didn't know what the fuck I was. So I'm like, all right, this is some new thing. Okay, whatever. So I'm like, all right, Johnny, woo, Johnny, woo. Okay, so he brings the next trophy. All right. This trophy is for Joey. Come on down, Joey. Woo. Everyone's like, it's the same trophy. And now I'm like, it's the same trophy. Okay. So Joey goes up and gets the same trophy. And so as he calls the 4th person up and it's the same trophy, I'm bewildered. Now you already know what's going on because this is in the future now. You know, I had no idea what was happening. Totally clueless. I was a new dad. I didn't know how this worked. So I turned to my wife at the time and I say, why are they all getting the same trophy? There's but 4 trophies. They're all the same trophy. And I remember this was like, 35 years ago. I still remember this. I remember, saying it loud over people clapping because all the moms and dads went, yay, yay, Johnny. And I raised my, why are they all getting it? And she turns to me and she says, well, they all get the same trophy. And I said, what? She goes, yeah, they all get the same trophy. That way none of the kids feel left out. I remember how baffled. I'm like, wait, what? They all get, wait a second. They all get the same, and sure shit, eventually they call my son's name, and he goes up and gets the same trophy. And I clap for my son, but I'm not clapping for any of the other kids. I'm confused. I didn't get mad. That came a little later. but I'm just thoroughly confused. Like, what the? And I'm just sitting there in awe, watching every fucking kid go up and get the same trophy. So I'm like, wait a second. In any baseball team, you got kids who are awesome and kids who are okay and kids who are fuck-offs, kids who are shitheads, don't do anything. There was a kid on that team named Rory. When I was growing up, if your name was Rory, you were like the class fuck-off. So this kid named Rory wouldn't do shit. We would play games. They'd be, home games. And Rory would go way out on past third base and just lay down in the grass for the whole game. My son would try very hard to win. And he was one of the best players on the team, period. My son got the same trophy as Rory. So I'm bewildered. So on the way home, now I'm starting to get pissed. So on the way we're driving home, and I start asking her questions because she's been a mom for 6-7 years. She knows this works. I've been a dad for a year and a half. I don't fucking do it. So I'm asking these questions like, okay, so wait a second. So like, I'm trying to find a way out of this. So I'm like, okay, is this just some weird thing that our school district is doing? Is there some sort of like Marxist on the school board? One of these angry old hippies from the early 70s who's pissed off that there's Christians, and so he's doing this communistic thing, and other school districts don't do this. And she goes, no, they all do this. I'm like, okay, so is this like an Oregon thing? Because this was Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is one of the most left-wing cities in the entire North American continent, frankly, in the whole world. So this is Portland. So I'm like, all right, then clearly this must be a Portland thing. I said, so is this this is a Portland thing, right? They don't do this. She was from Nebraska. You can't get more right-wing than Nebraska. I said, so they don't do this in Nebraska, right? Because she had like nieces and nephews who are our son's age, who are 7, 8 playing baseball, and right? So they don't do this in Nebraska, right? This is a Portland thing. She goes, oh no, they do this everywhere. They do this in Nebraska. Caleb, this is just how they do it now. They do it everywhere. Because she's not against this. She thinks it's a perfectly fine idea because she's a Gen X mom, which is where this came from. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Every kid on every team gets a fucking trophy, no matter how bad they do or how hard they try, because we don't want to make kids feel I was so angry. And that was the beginning of the end. Those kids grew up to be millennials. How's that working out? And then they doubled down on that stuff. Now we have Gen Z. How's that working out? Now we've got, God forbid, we've got the next generation, hilariously called Gen Alpha. Has America / the Western world been on an upward trajectory since 1997 or a downward trajectory since 1997? What do you fucking think? Vanilla Ice was right. He was right for a separate reason, but that's the first time I realized, holy shit. And by the way, this is getting worse. This is not getting better. So first of all, people aren't having babies in the Western world. I've done the statistics on this, but what few people are having kids are still doing this. They're taking left-wing mom who protects her little baby's children and either pussy beta male dad or no dad, both of which are terrible. And this keeps propagating. I saw a video a while back of a Gen X. I'm Gen X, so I'm kind of personal to this. This is my generation of a Gen X woman, because this is where this started. Gen X moms. This is who started this shit in the 90s. She said, well, yeah, of course we pampered our kids. We over-pampered. Of course we did, because when we were kids, we didn't get any feeling. We were told to suck it up. And we didn't do everything on our own. And we didn't want, which was true. I was raised that generation. That's what we were told. Great. And so we didn't want our kids to be raised the way we were raised. So, did we overdo it a little bit? Yeah, we overdid a little bit. Not a little bit. You overdid it a lot. Can you now imagine what's going to happen when the millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha and the generation who were little kids during the pandemic, when they get in their 20s, 30s, millennials are already there. How they raise their kids. Better or worse? What do you think? This is why you need to develop your own location-independent income with your own location-independent business. Leave the collapsing United States or cuckoo Canada or suicidal Europe or authoritarian Australia, or at a bare minimum, set up an international backup plan, which means you have full residency in some other country far away. I'm here in Paraguay. It's a perfect candidate for this. Dubai, Armenia, Mexico. There's many other countries you can do this in. I gave you a list a little while ago on my channel of 25 countries you'd like. You can pick one you'd like to have that as a backup, because this is going to get worse and worse and worse, and it's never getting better. New video. There is one single technique that will as much as increase your productivity by 50%. And it's just by making one change. I will tell you what that is right now. One of my mentors, I had several mentors when I was a young man. One of my mentors back in the 1990s was a guy named Dan Kennedy. You may have heard of him. And one thing he used to say all the time is, when you get up in the morning and sit down to work, if the very first thing you do is to figure out what you have to work on, you've already fucked the day. You've ruined the day. You've damaged the productivity for the day because you sit down at your desk or wherever your workspace is, and now you got to figure out what to do. So that causes several problems. Number one is you're going to be scatterbrained and you're going to make the incorrect decisions on what to do based on what is happening right now. So you're going to do something stupid like check your email and go, ooh, there's a problem. I better jump on that. And you'll work on that, which is not what you should be working on. Or you'll go check your WhatsApp or your texts on your phone or Instagram or Slack or Basecamp or whatever it is you use to communicate. You'll go there first, and whatever happens to be in there, whatever little fires are going on that aren't really important in the big picture, is what you will now focus on. And you will ruin the first several hours of the day on a task that you shouldn't be messing with at all or should be messing with much later. Problem number one. Problem number two, the most productive time for most people is the first few hours every morning. I do a 3-hour focus block of work every morning, 3 hours on my most important task, and I don't stop until I am done or that 3-hour timer goes off. That's what I do every morning, with a few exceptions. Sometimes I have busy days and I can't do that, but that's my standard operating procedure, because I want to take the first few hours of the morning and leverage them for the most amount of productivity, the most amount of results I can possibly get. You can't do that if when you sit down, you go, okay, what do I work on? And you look around and try to figure it out. Third problem. What was the third problem? I think I forgot the third problem. I forgot the third problem, but there is a third problem. It'll come to me later. The solution to this is what you have to do the night before is to determine what you will work on first thing as soon as you sit down at your desk. And that's the technique. It's the easiest goddamn thing in the world. What are you going to work on first thing in the morning as soon as you sit down? And that thing cannot be what I call SW. SW work, IW. There's SW and IW. Standard work, which is the work you have to do to maintain your income, but it doesn't make you any more money. It doesn't improve your life, like checking your email and doing your books and working on your taxes. These are things that have to get done, that you can delegate a lot of this, but they have to get done, but they don't improve anything. So what you want to work on the next morning is something that will improve your income, improve your business. If you don't have a business, work on your business. Now, well, Caleb, I have a job. If you have a job, you're fucked. That's why you shouldn't have a job. So instead, you have to focus on what you do as soon as you get home after your dumb job is over. You can also do this on Saturdays and Sundays. What do I do when I sit down to work? What am I going to do? And it's right on your screen. You can write it on a 3x5 card and put it on your keyboard. You can write it on a piece of paper. You can put it on your screen and leave your screen on all night. So you sit down, it's right on your screen. I've done that sometimes. You can use whatever time management system you use. There's 10,000. Pick your favorite. Doesn't matter which one you use. I use Notion. You can use whatever you want. So it's right there. First thing, do this. And so what you want to do every morning is, like a robot, do whatever your to-do list tells you. That was one of the key techniques I pulled away from one of the best books ever written, which is The Magic of Thinking Big. If you haven't read The Magic of Thinking Big, read that book, please. It's a little dated, but it's awesome. It's one of these core self-help success books that you need to read. Magic of Thinking Big. And one of the core concepts of that book was, you don't want to decide what to do throughout the day. You want to be a robot during the day and just follow the to-do list you already figured out prior to that day. That's how you become successful. That's how you become productive and stay productive. I don't ever want to make decisions in a given day of what I'm going to do today. So today, as I record this video, I already know everything that's going to happen for the rest of the day. It's all mapped out in my calendar and my to-do list. I'm not going to sit and say, okay, it's 2 o'clock. Well, now what do I do? When I'm done recording these videos, I'm not going to say, well, okay, now what I'm going to do? I guess, no, I know exactly what I'm going to do after this. Exactly. And exactly what I'm going to do after that. And exactly what I'm going to do after that. And exactly what I'm going to do after that. Until I am done working for the day. And then when I'm done working, I'm a maniac about this. This is optional. I know exactly what I'm doing in my personal time. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And after I'm done doing that, I know exactly what I'm going to do after that. My entire day is mapped out. I've already mapped out the day back on Sunday when I mapped out the week, and yesterday when I determined the plan for the next day. Sam Ovens, those you know he is, used to talk about plan tomorrow, today. So every night, you sit down, you plan out the next day. So you know, but you don't have to plan the next day. This technique is just, what will you do as soon as you sit down to work? That's it. If you just do that and nothing else, no other time management technique or anything else I've ever talked about, you just know, because it's written or on a screen, exactly when you sit down, and as soon as you sit down, you know what to work on, and you work on that first, it'll change your life. It's all you have to do. Start doing it. All right. Let's talk about 90-day Business Builder Rapid really quick, and I will answer your questions. Hang on a moment. Beep, beep, beep. Things are going crazy over here with 90-day Business Builder Rapid. My goodness. I don't want that. Why don't I have that screen? That's not the screen I want. Let's see here. There we go. Really quick, because I know a lot of you are aware of this already, but this is one of those things where Monday morning, I'm going to get a bunch of angry emails saying, well, I didn't know. Can I please buy it? No, you can't. It expires Sunday night. A lot of you want to join the 90-day Business Builder program, but either you can't afford it because it's several $1,000s, or you're kind of not sure about it. You're kind of on the fence. You need a little more information than you can get just talking to us. So I have an answer for you guys. You can now get the exact same material in the 90-day Business Builder program, more or less, but it's the same exact steps, same exact techniques. It's called 90-day Business Builder Rapid Launch. It is a do-it-yourself version of the 90-day Business Builder program. It's all the same techniques, the same models, the same training, and more or less, not 100%, but more or less the same materials you get in the 90-day Business Builder program. There are videos, slides, PDFs, transcripts, audios. You get a lot of stuff with this, like a lot. Now, the difference between this and the full 90-day Business Builder program is, because this is much less expensive, it's only a few $100 instead of several thousand, there's no human element. There's no coaching. There's no live sessions. There's no message boards, things like that. It's just you and the step-by-step info. Now, what I did is I didn't just take a bunch of videos from 90-day Business Builder and throw them in a big ball and say, here you go. I sat down and I took hours of my time, several weeks of my time, frankly, and I recorded a whole bunch of new videos step-by-step with slides to show you exactly from the very beginning, where you have no idea what to do to start a business. You've never started a business in your life. You have no idea what to do, all the way to getting your first several clients. I take you through that entire process, me. You also, if you want to join the 90-day Business Builder program, the full program, if you get this, you can use whatever you paid for this as a full credit toward you joining the full 90-day Business Builder program. That's something you want to do later in the next 6 months. And I'm pretty chill about the next 6 months. Cool? All right. The 90-day Business Builder program, the full program is several $1,000s. This is $697. That's it. It's the lowest I can make it. Cheap as hell. And it's tax deductible. And if you want to make payments, yes, you can. 3 payments of $267, 3 monthly payments. Fine. I made this as cheap as possible for those of you who want this material, but are not ready to commit to a full-on 4-month program and or can't afford several $1,000s. That's why I did this. Here's the thing. I cannot leave this available long-term because I'm concerned it may cannibalize sales for my full 90-day Business Builder program, which would damage my financial objectives, so I can't have that. But I still wanted to give you guys, because you've asked, an opportunity to get in on this stuff. So this is only available for 4 days. It is available right now. Let me give you the website really quick. There it is. www.caleb.top/rapid. You can get it right now, depending on when you watch this video. You get it now. Sunday night at midnight on whatever date Sunday is. June 8th? Yes. Sunday night, June 8th, you cannot get this anymore. Midnight, PST, Sunday night, June 8th, you cannot get this anymore. I'm sorry. This is your only opportunity to get it. I'm sorry. But Caleb, can you wait? No, I can't. I'm sorry. This is your opportunity. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. I've done my part. You're welcome to get this if you want. What else do I want to say about that? 2 more quick things. If you get it today, a lot of people getting this today. I opened this live stream with that. Holy shit. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe this is why it's happening. If you get it today in the first 24 hours, you get it before 8 a.m. PST tomorrow, which is Friday, June, 6th, I think. If you do that, I will throw in another video called How to Get Clients in 7 Days. How I would get clients, and I've done this, within 7 days of starting from zero. I will give you that video extra as a little bonus. If you get this after Friday morning, tomorrow morning, you don't get this video. It's only for the first people who moved in the first 24 hours. Cool? Cool. All right. If you get it today or sometime tonight, depending on your time zone. One other little hack you can do with this. If you want to join the Unchained Action Table, where I work with you personally over a prolonged period, it's a monthly program. You can pay monthly or quarterly. You can get that. That's at caleb.top/UAT. If you get that, you get 50% discount off this. So you can join the Unchained Action Table, sign up for that, work with me. I've been on the phone with the guys on my Telegram here the last few hours. We've been talking a lot of stuff. You can join that program, get 50% off this, get this program, and then you do get my help because you'll be in the UAT program. You can do both. And you're still under $1,000, I think, or close to it. Well less than several $1,000s for the 90-day business builder program, not even close. But again, you got to do this now before Sunday night. And if you send me an email on Mondays or Tuesdays saying, I didn't know, can I please? No. I've been warning you about this for over a week. You have plenty of advance notice. I've been talking to my list and Facebook and YouTube. Okay? So if you want this, please get it. If you don't want it, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But if you have a need for this, get it now. Caleb.top/rapid. Cool? Cool. All right. Let me check my schedule here. I have a kind of a packed day today. See, I know exactly what I'm doing after this. Oh, okay. I got to go soon. So I'm going to answer your questions. Take some more electrolyte tea. Hang on. Now it's getting cold. Nothing like cold chamomile tea. Is drinking salt water a good way to hydrate? Yes, that is the best way to hydrate. If so, does the type of salt matter? Technically, no. But if you want to be super duper duper healthy, you want Himalayan pink salt. That's what I use. That's the best. But no, you can use normal salt. It's fine. Coarse sea salt's fine. That's fine. When I call to find problems, I found these obstacles. People that tell me directly that they're not telling me their problems. People tell me that they have no problems. The secretary replies and tells me that people can answer me, do not want these kinds of calls. This is all normal. These are called gatekeepers. First of all, try to focus on smaller companies. That's number one. Try to focus on smaller companies. If you're focused on medium-sized or large companies, you're going to have gatekeepers, and that's tough. So that's number one. Number two, that people who apply never have. Okay, you're listing everything. I can't help you with every little item. You need to overcome and learn how to deal with gatekeepers. There's a lot of material online about that. You can join 90-Day Business Builder Rapid, and I have some information on that. And focus on smaller companies. Those are the two answers. During these calls, I know problems of companies. Some of them are treated very badly. How can I overcome the bad feeling? Treated me very badly. Oh, outcome independence. These are strangers. You should not care how strangers you'll never talk to ever again treat you. If I do a random call to some phone number and I talk to them and they say, fuck you, Caleb, or no, they don't know my name. Whoever you are, fuck you and fuck your mom. Click. Do I care? Why do I care? I don't care. It's a stranger I'll never talk to again. Stop giving a shit, Miguel, Italy, about what strangers who will never get talked to ever again think about you. Stop giving a shit about this. Outcome independence. Hi, Caleb. Congrats on your weight goal. You look younger each video. Well, thank you. You've talked about the importance of building a brand. Yes. But doesn't building a brand effectively require a connection to the West Anglosphere? No. Why? Why? No. Doesn't have to. No. And if you do, if your brand is connected, you do this, what my thing is my 60% rule. So my 60% rule, read my book, Freedom Fortress, is that I want 60% of my total income to come from outside the collapsing trifecta. United States, Canada, and Western Europe. So I want only 40% of my income to come from those 3 regions. The other 60% should come from South America. You can use this. You can do a South America brand, Central America, Middle East, like Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, a lot of money there. All of Asia, you can do an Asia personal brand or a Western brand that appeals to Asians or people in Asia. Australia and New Zealand are acceptable because I don't think they're going to collapse. I think they're going to stagnate and be horrible, but not going to collapse. Oceania, it's a very big world. Russia, God forbid. Maybe some parts of like the Caucasus. So all those regions are fine. So you can start a brand and make money from those. I make plenty of money from those regions. And I have other income streams besides a brand. On yesterday's stream, you emphasized the importance of being self-centered. Yes, be selfish. I found the idea interesting, but I'm not used to it. I feel a bit guilty about it. Yes, that's called societal programming, and it's wrong. It's your mom waving her finger in your face when you're a 5-year-old saying, make sure you share your toys with your other friends or else you're going to go to your room. You're like, okay, mommy. And now as an adult, you're like, well, I don't want to be selfish. That's me. Yeah, it's societal programming. It's all horseshit. Yeah, you got to clean that out. Read my book. Besides my book, The Unchained Man. Oh, you did read my book. Okay, Harriet Brown's book, How from Freedom. Can you please recommend 1 or 2 more books about the subject? About being selfish? Yes, anything written by Ayn Rand. There's a whole book she wrote called Rational Selfishness, I think. Look up Ayn Rand, A-Y-N-R-A-N-D. Read that shit. You think I'm an asshole. Read Ayn Rand. She'll smack you across the face with that stuff. Hell yeah. How important is your name in building a personal brand? The name of what? What to do when your name is hard to pronounce or has an ambiguous pronunciation? Oh, you change your name. I made 6-figure income online and my name was Black Dragon. Do I look black to you? No one knew my name. I was anonymous. Now, it's easier if you're not monogamous. If you're not anonymous, it's easier. You can give yourself a name. Your brand can be anything you want. You can assume a persona. It should still be you. It should be authentic. Okay. But you can set up your own logo and your own company name, your own brand name, and your name. Call yourself. Here's what I do when I go to Asia. I don't say my name is Caleb. I say my name is Kai. It's easy. They can't pronounce. There are certain Asian countries that can't pronounce Caleb. They can't. They go Kirani. They can't do it. So I'm Kai. I call myself. No, I said that's not my real name. My real name is Caleb. They say Caleb. So call yourself whatever you want. It's your brand. Do you think overthinking issue is the biggest problem for modern day men in general? No, the biggest issue for modern day men in general being pussy beta males. That's the biggest issue in general. The biggest issue with you guys, in addition to being pussy beta males, is overthinking. Still the idea of being a self-centered individual. Call it a sovereign individual, not a self-centered individual. Oh, that's accurate too. Call it a sovereign individual. I am a sovereign individual. No one tells me what to do, except my CFO. Do we personally think that the main reason we have to be do you personally think that the main reason we have to be self-centered is because it's the only way to live a truly happy life? Long-term consistent happiness, like I talked about in The Unchained Man? Yes. If you're going to be Mr. Altruism, you will not have long-term consistent happiness. Because why? You will always do what other people want you to do. Your mommy, your daddy, your society, your religion, your girlfriend, your wife, your kids. And are you going to want 100% of what these people want for you? No, you're not. You're not. But you'll just do it like a good little beta and you'll be kind of miserable. Some days you'll be happy when you play your video games. Other days you'll be kind of miserable. Right. The only way to be long-term consistently happy is to say, what do I want? In The Unchained Man, I have an entire section called setting up societally independent goals. Not goals based on what will oppress your mommy or your daddy. A lot of you Asian guys have a problem with that. Like you Indian guys, you got to impress mommy and daddy, don't you? It's what will impress me. Fuck my mom and dad. I don't give a fuck what they want. Not will impress. If you're married, God forbid, and you're monogamous, God forbid double. And it's what will my wife want? I don't want to make her mad. That's not a path to happiness. Long term. Yeah. Will you still do a video or seminar on how you lost all the weight in your diet? Yes, I will. I will gladly pay for such a seminar. Thanks. I am not going to charge money for that because that's losing weight and fitness is not my area. And I am not an expert at this, clearly. I've been overweight for 35 years, so I'm not a fitness guy. No, I will do it for free. But even then, kind of what I did, I'll do it over my Alpha Male 2.0 channel. I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to say very clearly, I don't recommend you do this. It's something I did for me from where I am in my life. Most of you are not where I am in life. Kind of like over my other channel, when I talk about PDMs, I said, this is what I'm doing. You shouldn't do this. So I'm going to present it that way. This is what I did based on where I am, the level of focus and motivation and all that stuff that I have now in my life that most of you don't have. This is what I was able to do. I eat once in 1 hour, a 1 hour eating window every 48 hours. Are you going to do that? Probably not. Okay. One or two more questions and I got to go. How did you recognize the overthinking problem in your own life? And how did you train yourself to prioritize action? Pain. I realized, and I did this in my 20s. When I was in my early 20s, I was a little shit. I was a little smart ass little shit who thought he knew everything, like a millennial. And I would be at a job like, this place sucks. If I ran this place, man, and I would talk and shoot my mouth off. And I got into trouble after trouble after trouble. And after several years, I was like, you know what? Randy Gage, another one of my mentors, his comment is, who's the one person at the scene of the crime? Who's the one person who's always at the scene of the crime whenever you have a problem? You. So guess whose fucking fault? I say, guess whose fault this is? Mine. I'm an asshole. I'm a little shit. Yes, these people are stupid. Yes, these people are rational. Yes, most people know what the fuck they're doing. That doesn't mean I have to tell them and shoot my mouth off and overthink things and process. And no, I need to get into action. I read a book by one of my favorite authors, Robert Ringer, called Action. Brian Tracy, another one of my mentors, has a book called Action. I read those two books. I went, holy shit, it's all about action. It's not about thought. It's not about smart. It's not about thinking. Not about being good looking. Not about driving a Lamborghini. Not about being a nice person. Not about kissing people's ass. Not about voting for Trump. It's about taking action in your life, right action, not any action, not a bunch of busy work. You listeners can work on spreadsheets for 5 hours straight. You're not going to make a goddamn penny. So it's not about just taking action. It's about taking right action, which I've talked about in detail over at my other channel. Okay? Right action, consistently, hardcore, every day unless you take a day off. I work 7 days a week. I work about 11 hours a day, and I don't need to. I have enough money. I don't need to do any of this. Trust me, I don't. Why? Because I got goals and I want what I want. And next year, I'm changing in the next phase of my life, and I don't want to be late on my objectives. I'm going to be really angry at myself if I don't hit this goal next year. So I'm busting my ass. So I'm taking action, and I'm taking right action. Now, I've been guilty of sometimes not taking 100% right action. I'll be like 70% right action, 30% stupid action. I've done that. I've made that mistake. Not today. I am 100% Mr. Right Action. 95%. 95 to 100% Mr. Right Action. And I have been for months. And that'll be for another year. And then I back off. All right. Funny how George Carlin called it the BS about American life back in the day, using every single point you're making now. You're right. He's one of my idols. George Carlin's amazing. Yeah. You are looking quite handsome. Are you female or are you gay? Are you going to do a video on your skincare routine? I've done that. Go my other blog, alphamale20.com/blog. I have skincare stuff over there and my books. That's another channel thing. That's not here. You guys are asking me questions about women. I don't talk about women on this channel. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. If you want the 90-day Business Builder Rapid course that has all the same material in Business Builder, plus my bonus little video, you have until Sunday night. This is the cheapest it'll ever be. www.caleb.top/rapid. After Sunday at midnight, you cannot get this. Okay, and I'm being serious about this. All right, so get this if you want it. It's only a few $100s. You can make payments. It's tax deductible. Check with your accountant. It's far less money than the 90-day Business Builder program. And if you want a little hack for a little more money, go over to caleb.top/UAT. You can join the Unchained action table over there to work with me directly every month and join Rapid. And now you have the best of both worlds. You have all the materials and I can help you in your implementation. And you get 50% off this, but only until Sunday night. Cool? Cool. All right. See you guys soon. Bye.